On September 1st, 2004, 1,200 children and parents were taken hostage at a Beslan school in Russia. The fiasco lasted 3 days. Let's break it down based off eyewitness accounts. Hi, and welcome to my channel where we talk about all things disturbing and unsettling around the globe. I upload weekly. Feel free to subscribe to be a part of the Abyssal Plane. I'm your host, Lavender, and let's get into the video. So this case takes us to Beslan, North Ossetia in Russia, when a terrorist group known as Chechen rebels took captive a primary and secondary school. The 3-day ordeal ended with over 330 people dead and over 700 injured. September 1st started as any other day for Annette Gadiva and her 9-year-old daughter, Alana, and 1-year-old daughter, Melina. The first day of school in Russia is known as the Day of Knowledge, where families attend children to their first day of school. Alana puts on her best clothes and prepares her flowers. There's no need for a backpack today, as it's just a day of celebration, just a day about connecting with friends and family. More than 1,200 people started their day this way. As the families and children played and got to know each other, there was suddenly a sound of a machine gun and a man yelling. Immediately, a lot of people just thought that he was mad or crazy, but the reality would soon set in when a second machine gun was fired on the opposite side of the playground. They were under attack. Many people began running to find their children or protect them. Their efforts were futile as the gunmen broke windows to the gymnasium and forced everyone inside. A parent and man named Beslan tried to console the masses. He spoke in their native language and assured everyone that it would be okay if they just stayed calm. He would unfortunately become one of the first casualties as a gunman walked by and shot him. Shortly following this, the terrorist group began rigging bombs to the gymnasium and enlisting help of high school age students. One boy who was enlisted to help was remembered to be very scared and did not want to do it as he was afraid he was going to blow up. When someone offered to help, the offer was rejected by the terrorist group aggressively. Therefore, he was forced to do it on his own. They then installed 2 pedals on the floor used to detonate the bombs. They also put an attacker on each pedal. The mothers with children under 3 were permitted to the changing rooms. The conditions in here were much better. There were showers and running water, though they were told that the water was poisoned. Eventually, some of the parents became so thirsty that they could not resist taking sips of the water, but refused to give it to the children because they were so afraid that the water supply had been poisoned. And by day 2, the changing room conditions had already deteriorated. There's nearly 20 children who simply did not understand what was going on and were left to cry and sob. Most, if not everybody, was extremely thirsty and hungry at this point too. Urine was everywhere and no toilets were available in the changing rooms. But by early afternoon, a rumor had spread that someone very important was coming to visit. Many people assumed that it was Putin, the president of Russia, but it was soon announced that it was Ruslan Ashev, the ex-president of Ingushetia. He was set to negotiate. Soon after his arrival, a terrorist had came into the changing room and advised that all mothers with breastfeeding infants were permitted to leave with their child. They are quoted saying, "If you don't go, someone will pay for it. If you don't leave now, someone will pay." It stated that collective responsibility was weaponized against them a lot. In a dash, the mothers were up. All of the mothers had also left older children in the school grounds at this time, but there was no time to think and they were not given a choice to take their younger children, unfortunately, and they were rushed through dark corridors and out the doors. A total of 26 people were released.
Walked out the door. Each of these mothers was leaving an older child behind. In all, 11 mothers carried out 14 babies. At the last moment, a terrorist handed another baby to Ashev. The boy's mother just couldn't leave her older child behind.
Night fell on the school and passed. Local officials had asked for permission to clear some of the bodies that had been dumped out of the windows on the school grounds. During the process of this, loud explosions and gunfire were heard. The gymnasium was blown up by bombs that were previously rigged, and the roof caved in. The majority of the hostages were being held in the gym. This garnered local officials to push in. Russian authorities ultimately killed all the attackers that were in the building besides one, Nerpashi Kulev. He fled the scene and was almost killed by the public before authorities were able to get a hold of them. In 2006, he was ultimately convicted of terrorism, hostage taking, and murder. He was sentenced to a life sentence. Unfortunately, this day would not end like any other for the Godiva family. Annette and the other mothers were released from the hospital, and she frantically tried to go back to the school to find her daughter. To no avail. She even waited at the hospital for hours. Eventually, an official called her to ask for identifying features of her child. He then began to describe her earrings, and it was then that Alana was gone. She was just 9 years old. This was not only the reality for Annette, but many other families. Many searched for loved ones that would simply never come home. The events of this day are extremely tragic, and we wish to remember everybody that had lost their lives on that day. 340 individuals passed away, expecting a day of celebration. Thank you so much for taking the time to dive into this topic with me. I know some of these videos can be heavy. Feel free to like and subscribe if you want to see more of me, and stay safe out there.